In a top-secret laboratory in Busan, South Korea, after a special drug was injected into the back of the boy's neck, he sat lonely to one side. Staring at the cold screen showing the vast ocean, the boy's mind stirred, and then, under his control, leaves began to flutter in the wind. Ki-hyun was astonished, and Dr. Hak-sun explained to him that 2,500 years ago, Emperor Qin Shi Huang sent Seo Bok across the Yellow Sea in search of the elixir of life. Although this is just a legend, Seo Bok represents humanity's desire to conquer death. So the boy created through the Immortality experiment was named Seo Bok. Dr. Se-yeon's relationship with Seo Bok seemed extraordinary, and she went on to explain that Seo Bok was a new life form created through cell cloning and genetic manipulation. He doesn't age or die, and the special cells produced in his spinal cord can heal all diseases, while also granting him extraordinary abilities. However, Seo Bok is not perfect. Due to rapid cell division, he endures excruciating pain every day and must be injected with a suppressant. If the suppressant stops, the consequences are unpredictable. Suddenly, Ki-hyun's consciousness blurred, and he collapsed to the floor. When he woke up again, we learned that Ki-hyun had a brain tumor and had only 1 month left to live. 2 days ago, the doctor in charge of the Immortality experiment was assassinated by a drone. The laboratory was exposed, and Seo Bok had to be transferred quickly. The head of the police station assigned Ki-hyun to oversee the operation. Why Ki-hyun? Because only those who are about to die can keep secrets, and his superior wanted to squeeze out the last value of Ki-hyun. Dr. Hak-sun seemed to have other plans. Seo Bok's spinal cord could cure all diseases. Hak-sun promised that as long as Ki-hyun ensured Seo Bok's safety, he would cure Ki-hyun. In the transport vehicle, Ki-hyun and Seo Bok met for the first time. Ki-hyun just greeted him, and then a team of fully armed mercenaries ambushed them. The agents and experiment personnel were all killed. Ki-hyun fought alone, protecting Seo Bok. A smoke bomb was thrown in, and Ki-hyun fell unconscious. When he woke up again, he was tied up. A soldier pulled out a needle to inject Seo Bok, but Seo Bok refused. The vehicle shook, and a powerful force knocked the man down. Ki-hyun freed himself, successfully dealt a finishing blow, and with Seo Bok drove off to escape the mercenaries. Having rescued Seo Bok, Ki-hyun contacted his superior. His superior instructed him to take Seo Bok to the nearest safe house where reinforcements would meet them. What Ki-hyun didn't know was that from the very beginning, he had fallen into a trap. His superior represented the National Security Bureau, and the real players behind the mercenaries were the Chaebols, the true masterminds of this game. The vehicle broke down, and Ki-hyun and Seo Bok had to walk to the safe house. For the first time outside the laboratory, Seo Bok was filled with curiosity about the world. Seeing Seo Bok's innocent wonder, Ki-hyun picked out a set of clothes to help him blend in. Seo Bok, now wearing new clothes, was nervous, but also happy. Ki-hyun led him to the safe house. Seo Bok sat on the ground like a child, helpless and unsure. Ki-hyun made a bowl of instant noodles, and Seo Bok, eating it for the first time, devoured it happily, finishing several bowls in a row. Perhaps it was the food that brought them closer, as Seo Bok revealed to Ki-hyun that Dr. Se-yeon was actually his mother. However, since his birth, his mother had been cold and emotionless, always forcing him to take various pills or undergo painful experiments. In her heart, perhaps he was just a cold experiment. Suddenly, an alarm went off and 2 agents arrived to provide support. Ki-hyun carefully assessed the situation, and after confirming they were sent by his superior, he put down his gun. But the agents immediately pointed their guns at Seo Bok. Indeed, the agents' mission wasn't to provide support, but to kill Seo Bok. Confused, Ki-hyun stepped in front of Seo Bok, and the agents fired. Under Seo Bok's control, the bullet veered off course and missed Ki-hyun by a hair's breadth. Ki-hyun took the opportunity to engage one of the agents, while the other slowly approached Seo Bok. Ki-hyun subdued the agent and rushed to Seo Bok. His superior called him, hysterical, ordering Ki-hyun to shoot Seo Bok. Ki-hyun was no fool. If Seo Bok died, he wouldn't survive either. Ki-hyun refused the order and contacted Hak-sun. Hak-sun promised that as long as Ki-hyun brought Seo Bok back to the laboratory, he would be cured. What Ki-hyun didn't know was that Haksun's failure was tied to South Korea's biggest conglomerate, and everything was being manipulated by the Chaebols behind the scenes. Their ultimate goal was to acquire Seo Bok and obtain immortality. Ki-hyun planned to take Seo Bok back to the laboratory, but Seo Bok refused. Seo Bok was determined to go to a church before returning to the laboratory. Otherwise, he wouldn't go anywhere. The situation was urgent, and Ki-hyun knew his superior would track them down soon. Reluctantly, he agreed to Seo Bok's request. Meanwhile, Chuno contacted the superior. The immortality experiment had originally been funded by the Chaebols and secretly led by the National Security Bureau. However, after Seo Bok was created, the two sides began to disagree. On the NSB side, the United States began to apply pressure. Americans argued that the existence of death encourages humanity to live a meaningful life within limited time. If life never ends, endless greed and conflict would consume everything, ultimately leading the world to chaos and destruction. The Americans had their own agenda, of course. They believed South Korea couldn't control the immortality experiment. For the good of the world, South Korea would either hand over Seo Bok to the US or destroy him, ensuring no one could profit from it. Ki-hyun's superior had arranged for him to transfer Seo Bok, but the real goal was to secretly hand Seo Bok over to the Americans. The Chaebols, on the other hand, had arranged for mercenaries to kidnap Seo Bok, but they didn't expect Ki-hyun to escape with him. With his emotions in turmoil, the superior was forced to send agents to destroy the experiment. Once again, the plan failed. Now, Seo Bok was missing, and Chuno had to find him to ensure immortality. With the Americans backing him, the one who found Seo Bok first would ultimately come out on top. In the car, Seo Bok spat out blood. 2 days without the suppressant had made his abilities stronger, but his body was growing weaker. At a gas station, Ki-hyun secretly contacted Dr. Haksun. It turned out that Seo Bok, too naive, thought Ki-hyun was taking him to a church. In reality, Ki-hyun had been heading toward the laboratory all along. When Ki-hyun returned, Seo Bok was missing. At that moment, Seo Bok was in a store, staring at 2 girls' instant noodles on their table. 2 guys, thinking Seo Bok was a thug, tried to pick a fight. One was knocked over, and the other's arm was twisted out of place. The incident was quickly captured on surveillance, and Ki-hyun and Seo Bok's whereabouts were exposed. With sirens blaring, Ki-hyun took Seo Bok to the seaside to hide. Anxiously, Ki-hyun said that the road to the laboratory would surely be closed now. Seo Bok, disappointed, realized that while he was innocent, he wasn't stupid. Ki-hyun had been protecting him to save his own life. Everyone wants to live, but why should he save Ki-hyun? What reason does Ki-hyun have to live? Ki-hyun, stung by the thought, recalled past events. After venting his emotions, he collapsed from illness. It was unclear how long it had been when Ki-hyun woke up. Seo Bok hadn't left. He was quietly sitting by the sea. Sitting side by side, Ki-hyun spoke of his past. Back then, he and a female colleague were top agents in the National Security Bureau. During a mission, the female colleague uncovered some dirty secrets. Unable to bear the guilt, she wanted to expose the truth with Ki-hyun. However, Ki-hyun secretly drugged her and handed the evidence she held back to his superior. The superior promised Ki-hyun that if he retrieved the evidence, the female colleague would be spared. But in reality, after the superior got the evidence, he ordered the female colleague to be drowned in the river. Ki-hyun watched helplessly, regretting his decision. Soon after, Ki-hyun fell ill with a terminal disease. Perhaps the reason he desperately wanted to survive was to alleviate the guilt and make up for something. Seo Bok slowly stood up, placing his hand on the sand. The stones gathered into a small grave, offering Ki-hyun comfort. Meanwhile, thousands of seagulls gathered to greet the rising sun. This was Seo Bok's gift of hope to Ki-hyun. The church they visited, with a picture of young Seo Bok on a coffin inside, brought him to tears. 10 years ago, Seo Bok had died in a car accident with his father. His mother, Dr. Se-yun, had used cloning technology to create Seo Bok. Though Seo Bok retained his past memories, he knew that, in his mother's eyes, he was never truly her son. For all these years, he endured the pain of broken promises, seeking belonging and recognition. But in his mother's heart, he seemed to always be a cold experiment. Seo Bok sobbed uncontrollably. It was then that Ki-hyun realized that, despite being immortal, Seo Bok was also pitiable. Like any other person, he could feel pain and sorrow. Seobok decided to return to the laboratory. There, he had his mother, and only by returning could he save Ki-hyun. Without the suppressant, Seobok spat out blood again. Ki-hyun floored the accelerator, heading toward the laboratory, but they were soon caught by the pursuing police cars. Ki-hyun fought with all his might, barely shaking off the police, only to find the road ahead blocked. With a punctured tire and no escape, just as Ki-hyun's superior ordered them to be shot on sight, mercenaries sent by the Chaebols arrived in time. Ki-hyun was knocked unconscious, and when he woke again, they were already in the laboratory. Seo Bok was bound, his face expressionless, while a thin needle was inserted into his neck, greedily drawing out his spinal cells. For Ki-hyun, and for his mother, though in immense pain, perhaps this was the only purpose of his existence. Ki-hyun woke up and found Dr. Hak-sun. Hak-sun casually mentioned that if Ki-hyun extracted 40 milliliters a day for a month, his disease would be curable. Ki-hyun was stunned. Seo Bok might be an experiment, but he was still human. He felt pain, and that pain would continue forever. Ki-hyun thought of his past female colleague. Back then, he had made the wrong choice, and regretted it. This time, he wouldn't stand by. Knocking out the security personnel, Ki-hyun forced his way into the experiment chamber, but when he asked where Seon was, he saw only her cold, lifeless body. 2 days ago, Seon had raised a gun, demanding that the Chaebols stop their research on Seobok. As a mother, Seobok had long since become her child, no longer an experiment. Unfortunately, the mercenaries who arrived shot Seon dead. This will also be the trigger for Seobok's outburst, as the conglomerate surrounds them, and Ki-hyun is stunned and subdued before being taken away. Looking back, the experiment table, where Seo Bok had been, was now empty. Now, Seo Bok stood before Seon's body, frantically searching for a tranquilizer. He collapsed to the ground, just as he approached. Hak-sun, in disarray, looked up. Seo Bok turned and, with a glance, caused him to fall to the ground. The mercenaries tried to open fire, but were stopped by Chun-oh. His subordinates could die, but Seo Bok was his life. With his mother dead, Seo Bok lost his only hope. He stepped forward, and a tremendous force erupted from him, shattering the glass and crushing the experiment chamber. The mercenaries opened fire, but it was all in vain. The experiment chamber was crushed, and the mercenaries were wiped out. The Chaebols trembled, throwing away their cane but still trying to struggle. Seo Bok, expressionless, concentrated his power, and in the next second, turned Chun-oh into a pile of flesh. Anger had taken over Seo Bok, and his massive energy continued to collide inside the facility. A fully armed Special Forces team led by Ki-hyun's superior was already waiting outside the laboratory. A loud crash came from inside, and the steel door was torn open like petals by Seo Bok's force. Seo Bok stepped out slowly, and his superior immediately ordered the attack. A protective barrier formed around Seo Bok, and as the cracks in the air spread, everyone was suppressed and unable to move. The winds created by his power threw everyone off their feet. After releasing all his energy, Seo Bok's body could no longer hold up. Ki-hyun, regaining consciousness, found a car to rescue Seo Bok, only to find that his superior hadn't relented. He drove a tank towards Seo Bok, continuing to attack. Weakened, Seo Bok fought back alone, barely alive. At the last moment, Ki-hyun crashed into the tank with his car, saving Seo Bok. Unexpectedly, Seo Bok wasn't concerned about himself, but instead about Ki-hyun. Ki-hyun, just about to help Seo Bok up and leave, was interrupted by an explosion. Debris pierced Ki-hyun's thigh. Ki-hyun urged Seo Bok to escape, but Seo Bok didn't retreat. He stood up and removed the chip restricting him. In this moment, he would protect Ki-hyun and destroy everything. With bloodshot eyes, everyone didn't even have time to react. Ki-hyun's superior was killed, and the rest either died or struggled to climb up. Seo Bok looked coldly down at the oil leaking and the burning cars below. When Ki-hyun realized Seo Bok was going to kill everyone, he tried to stop him, but Seo Bok pushed him away. Having lost his mother, immortality meant nothing to Seo Bok anymore. But as long as he existed, these people would never stop hunting him. Seo Bok gave Ki-hyun a choice: Either let him destroy the world, or let Ki-hyun, the one person he cared about, end his eternal pain. Ki-hyun knew Seo Bok was kind, and he also knew Seo Bok was forcing him into this choice. He understood that perhaps death would be the best release for Seo Bok. With a heavy heart, Ki-hyun picked up the gun. In the final moment, he made his choice. Seo Bok fell to the ground. Ki-hyun wept, while Seo Bok, with a smile, ended his eternal torment and slowly closed his eyes. At the end of the movie, Ki-hyun went to the beach, placing a stone on the grave that Seo Bok had built. Compared to Seo Bok's meaningless immortality, what was there to fear about death?